I'm your host, Nancy Bacci. With me today is Cory Mashburn, Director of the Office of Prevention at the City of Somerville's Health Department. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me on, Nancy.
Well, as we know, it's an annual thing every year because it's one of my favorite events to talk about, and we try to promote it as much as possible. So today's topic will be National Night Out.
So this year is the 10th anniversary. It's the 10th anniversary for Somerville and the 30th anniversary national. So this is going to be a big year. We have more participation from the police, which is a great thing. They're really taking a big part in the event this year.
Excellent. It's interesting to see the evolution of the event over the past 10 years. You know, I know there have been different components that had been removed, new things have been added. So it really does keep it fresh and interesting for the community. As we know by the attendance numbers, people really do look forward to this every year, and having a crowd that size filling Foss Park is really quite a sight to see.
It is. We try to add new stuff every year. We try to do evals every year so that we can bring the stuff that the residents want.
As you had mentioned, we do have the increased participation from the police department this year. I know in other cities and towns it's run in different ways, and there are definitely different collaborations that exist. And the City of Somerville has always been fortunate to have a strong partnership with the Somerville Police Department, as well as other agencies that participate and corporate sponsors as well. However, this year there really is kind of a ratcheted up presence from the police department. In a few minutes, we're going to see a clip from Deputy Chief Cabral speaking about the police department's presentation this year.
Great. Yes, Deputy Chief Cabral has been a huge asset for National Night Out and for SCAP overall in the Office of Prevention, just because the police department as a whole has really helped us out in many ways. But for National Night Out, it is a police and community event. So other communities are different. Somerville, we pretty much like to take a community approach to it. Other communities like to just have a police approach, but I think having all the community organizations at the event is a much bigger draw.
I definitely think collaboration is so important in a city like Somerville, and it's definitely one of the things that makes us one of the strongest and most interesting cities in this area.
Yeah.
One of the other things you had mentioned, you'd referenced SCAP, and just for someone who may not be familiar with that, could you explain a little bit about the Office of Prevention and Somerville Cares About Prevention?
So the Office of Prevention was put together about 2.5, 3 years ago. It was pretty much put together to put all the prevention efforts under one roof. You can't really put every prevention effort under one roof, because when you say prevention, it has thousands of
It means different things to different people, right?
But for us, we have Somerville Cares About Prevention, which handles all of our underage drinking and substance abuse programs in the city. And then we have the Tobacco Alcohol Initiative, which handles 6 cities, Somerville, and 5 cities around us, around tobacco compliance. And it also has the Trauma Response Network, which handles, it could be fatalities, it could be just daily traumas, but we have a 24-hour cell phone, which Patty Contente, our clinical use specialist, is the manager of it, and we're very busy at times.
So that's good. Just a little bit of background for people explaining about the department, I think, is helpful. And it also, as you had said, you partner with the police department in other capacities with your compliance checks and tobacco controls and things like that. So it's nice to build off that existing partnership and really expand it with National Night Out.
Sure is.
So we're all looking forward to the increased police involvement this year. Would you like to take a look at the clip of the interview with Deputy Cabral?
Sure.
Let's do that. With me today is Deputy Chief Michael Cabral from Somerville Police Department. Thank you, Mike.
My pleasure, Nancy.
I wanted to talk with you a little bit today about the collaboration that we have going on. As you know, National Night Out is a huge event that happens in the city, brings out a lot of people, and this year we really wanted to speak to the collaboration that exists between the City of Somerville, the Health Department, Somerville Cares About Prevention, and of course the Somerville Police Department.
As you know, I think this is our 10th year now doing this, a partnership that we formed throughout the city with our neighborhood groups and, of course, Somerville Cares About Prevention, and it's just one way for the city, for the police department to give back to the city and really enjoy being a part of the community again.
What do you see as the importance of having a strong police presence at events like this, and as you had mentioned, at fireworks, at Family Fun Day, at all of these things that tend to draw large crowds of people out and enjoying our open spaces? Why is it important to have the police there?
Well, it's just a great opportunity for the community to get to meet their police officers. Unfortunately, most people deal with police, either a motor vehicle stop or a call for service, whether it be a domestic or a crime in progress. And sometimes there's a little bit of a negative connotation there, as opposed to when you meet police officers, have an opportunity to speak with them in an informal way. And National Night gives us an opportunity where if people have questions about what's going on in their neighborhood or about being a police officer, they can actually speak with police officers more in a more comfortable setting, more enjoyable. And when you look at what the city of Somerville offers in the mayor's office, Somerville has to be one of the most busiest cities in the Commonwealth that offers neighborhood groups an opportunity to get together. Summer Streets, for example, the fireworks, Assembly fireworks, all these different events throughout the city where the community gets to come out, meet department heads, meet police department, fire department, city workers, all an opportunity where this does not happen in other communities. We really are very lucky to have this event. And National Night Out is just another example where the community comes together with the city, with the department heads, with the police department, and we have a great time. And it's been very successful the past 10 years. I don't think we've had one evening where it wasn't successful, and we get a lot of positive feedback from it.
One of the things I always like to mention, because it is, selfishly, it's my very favorite part of the night, is the State Police Canine demonstration. And I know you're instrumental in the contact to make that event happen. So,
the State Police have been wonderful. Every year we ask them to come do a canine demonstration. We also have our own Somerville Police Canine Max. Officer John Tam is our canine handler. He also participates. But the Massachusetts State Police, they're there on their own time. There's no cost to the city of Somerville. They come out, they want to represent what the state police has to offer. The community comes together, there's a huge crowd. It's probably one of the most positive events of the evening where the people really get to see what a police canine dog can do. And the state troopers that come down, they're fantastic.
And you have parents who are like, wow, that's amazing. But then the young children are just like blown away by the dogs themselves, which are just beautiful animals. But then when they see the takedown and the possible search things and how they find people that are hiding, I mean, it really does give people kind of a nice behind-the-scenes look at how police work is done.
It's one of those situations where most people they see that when they're watching TV, so they don't really know what takes place. Here, they're only feet away. We've never had an incident. These dogs are highly trained. The handlers are highly trained. We've never had an incident where a dog actually, didn't follow commands and went into the group. But just a great opportunity for people to stand there and just 20, 30 feet away, watch these dogs in action. I actually enjoy it, and I've seen this a number of times, but I still enjoy it.
It is my favorite part of the night. One of the other things I know that the police department brings is the incident command vehicle.
Yes.
Which, everybody sees the police cars driving through the city and the motorcycle police officers and sometimes the neighborhood police officers on their bicycles. And now we have the new Explorers that the ward officers are out in. But really kind of getting, again, that behind the scenes look, like the people are able to go into the vehicle and see what a command center looks like.
Well, another example, the mayor and the Board of Aldermen have been fantastic to the police department. We have the best of equipment, technology. The instant command vehicle, which was donated by Cataldo Ambulance, is just another vehicle that we have that we get to bring out to show the community, show the public what we have, for our resources. The instant command vehicle is fully equipped with emergency equipment, radios. We can have an emergency operations center on wheels. So we do. We bring that out, as well as the motorcycles, as you mentioned, our cruisers. We want to share that with the community to show them what we have. The instant command vehicle is a big hit. Again, it was a former ambulance, but it's been retrofitted to be an emergency operations center on wheels. And the community gets to go in there, sit down, look at the radio, that we have set up, and all the equipment. And it just, again, it's our way of saying, we want to share this with the community because the community either paid for it through tax dollars or through donations, and just our way of sharing.
I think it's really important to highlight the relationship the police department is trying to build. I mean, the image of the police department has changed so much over the years. People really see the Somerville Police as more of a positive resource with the ramping up of the Family Services Unit, the Victim Witness Advocate, the language capabilities on the website. I mean, the whole department just feels really more user-friendly in every way possible. It's easier to get information. It's easier to get updates. You have a very active Facebook and Twitter presence. So I think it's nice to have this opportunity again to just kind of get out and connect with people. This event typically draws 1,000+ people every year, so the opportunity to get out, make connections with people in the neighborhood, find out what's important to them. And you know, when you're out in uniform, people come up to you and they really have things that they want to have addressed, and it's a different feeling on their part, I think, to come to you at a social event and say, you know, while you're standing here talking to me, I do have a concern about this, or I saw this in my neighborhood, or what's the next step with this. That's a very different feeling than having to come into the station and kind of take a more official capacity. So I think sometimes the best opportunity is the one that happen almost happenstance while you're standing there just chit-chatting with someone.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I can tell you I've been there for over 26 years. And at one time, I would say the Somerville Police Department was an agency that was on an island. You know, we really didn't communicate well with the community. We weren't involved with the community. And over the past at least 5 or 6 years, I would say that we've come a long way. You know, getting involved with community events, community efforts. Our neighborhood policing unit, we've expanded on that. Again, when you mentioned about the family services unit, we've expanded there, putting additional personnel in there. We went from a part-time advocate to a full-time advocate. So we've really made a commitment to being involved with the community, meeting their needs, listening. When people say they want something, we've actually tried to provide those services for them. And I think we've, you know, we're not resting on our laurels. We still have a long way to go, but we're heading in the right direction. And you know, you mentioned at these events, we get a lot of information from the community, and even a lot of accolades. You know, people will thank us for our service, especially since the marathon bombing. You know, there seems to be more of a sense of pride in first responders, police, fire, EMS, and we got a lot of positive responses here at the police department. People sending cards, baked goods, you know, just their way of saying thank you for your service. And I think this being our first national night out since this tragic event, I think it's going to be a nice opportunity where people can come out again and meet with the police officers, firefighters, and thank them in person.
I thank you for taking the time today. And as we talked about, there'll be all sorts of performances, music. I hear you juggle, so maybe we'll get a peek at that. But thank you again. I look forward to seeing you at National Night Out.
Thank you, Nancy, and I hope we have a good turnout. Should be a wonderful evening.
That was quite a bit of information we received from Deputy Cabral. It was very easy to see his pride in the department's participation in events like this, which I think really echoes throughout the community. It really has a nice feel to it.
Yeah, I really loved it. Like I said, the police department has been huge in collaboration with the health department and the Office of Prevention in the past. I think Mike Cabral said it right with the last 5 years. I've been here for 5 years, so and we really come in a far way.
It's nice to see. As we watched the clip, we did see a little bit of activities going on in the background. Can you talk a little bit about what happens? Let's really set the stage for people, perhaps, who've never been to National Night Out. So we're at Foss Park on Tuesday, August 6th at 5 p.m. What do we see?
When you see, well, you're going to see tables with organizations, and those organizations they can range from kid activities such as face painting or balloon animals. They can give brochures or information about the organizations, pretty much information to the residents, just like Deputy Chief Cabral said. They're going to have tons of information. We're also going to have some live performances.
Yes.
Yes, the K-9 unit will be there, just like you said, in the interview with Deputy Chief Cabral. But the police is really going to take a bigger part in that. The police are going to be introducing the mayor, introducing the police chief, and Deputy Chief Cabral wanted to do that. So he thought that would enhance the activities and the event as a whole. So we're going to have the mayor and the police chief speak. We're going to have the Sunsetters at later on in the night, probably the final performance.
They're always a crowd favorite, and that also is really nice to see. For people who aren't familiar with the Sunsetters, they're a group of young people who perform throughout the city, singing various tunes every year, supervised by our own Jimmy Del Ponte. And they are a great group of young people, and it's really a nice way. People are able to reserve them to come and do a block party or perform in front of their home. So to have them at National Night Out is really quite a draw. They really have quite a following. So it also encourages even more people to come out and find out this other information available as well.
Sure. I think it brings more adults and youth to the event just to see the Sunsetters, because a lot of youth don't know about the Sunsetters, so they want to know, okay, how can I be a part of that, and and the parents want to know how their kids can be a part of that. We're also going to have the Red Tiger Academy for martial arts, which they're located on Broadway, actually pretty much right across the street from Foss Park, and they're going to do a weapons display. They're going to show they're pretty much going to go from little kids to probably 18 years old, and they're going to show the little kids. They're going to be showing self-defense for that age, and then going straight up to block breaking and weapons and everything. So it should be exciting.
Very interesting.
We always we wanted to pretty much get a new agency there. I think we're going to try to do that every year, just because in the past we've had pretty much the same people, which is fine, but we really wanted to reach out, and Red Tiger reached out to us last year, so we want to give them opportunity.
That's great. I think, again, the importance, as you said, of kind of having all of these different components which very clearly have their own following. So, it's the same as if you like a musical group. If they're performing here, you're going to go see them, but in turn you get exposed to something else. So by having, the parents of the young people who participate in these programs come along, they're also able to connect perhaps with neighbors they haven't seen in a while, pick up a brochure at a table, find out about a new program, learn of a resource that maybe they're not in need of, but perhaps they know someone who needs a service like that and are able to help facilitate the connection.
Sure. And we talked about the more participation and collaboration with the police department. They will be doing a bike safety demonstration. So I know that the mayor is wanting to, they brought the hubway in, and they're working on putting more bike paths in, bike lanes. So I think that could be big for people. I know that I see bikers daily driving around the city. So
that's a very good point. I mean, Somerville is known as a very bicyclist-friendly community, and you do often see a lot of people out riding as a family or as a group. So it would be nice to definitely have the police demonstrate some of the safety tips. The proper way to put on a helmet. Traffic controls and things like that, which are always very important, especially in a city as densely populated as ours.
Well, so we have performances, but I think the biggest thing that we tried to add last year was more kids' activities. So actually Target is the national sponsor, and they're going to be doing all yard games. So badminton, horseshoes, they're going to be doing all that in Foss Park too. The Boys and Girls Club is going to bring what they call as a mobile playground, which is I've seen it foam box or just attaching foam pieces, but it's really a playground where kids could do whatever. It's safe, and that was a huge draw last year. All 3 hours, kids were there. Right. And we plan on having a couple of other. We're not going to tell people exactly what it is, but
I don't want you to give away all the secrets. We want just enough to tempt people to come.
But there should be some other specialty items there for people to see.
Very good, and clearly you'll get a chance to demonstrate your horseshoe throwing abilities.
If I have time.
But it's nice. It really is important to have activities to appeal to all different people and people of different abilities. It's very important to make certain everyone feels comfortable and welcome at this. And like you said, when you're in the midst of it, and I know you do the same thing walking around during the event, and you kind of look around and see you're in a crowd of, 500, 800, 1,000 people, and everybody is very engaged. They're watching a performance on the stage. They're watching a demonstration. They're picking up material. Their child's getting a balloon animal. They're just a virtual smorgasbord of opportunities available, and people really seem to embrace the idea that you're able to come out in a contained space with yourself, your family, your neighbors, whomever, and have a nice 3-hour break from your day at no cost.
Oh, yeah. It's a safe environment. We have the police, we have the ambulance, we have fire department there, so it brings the whole community together.
On that note, why is it important? Why are events like this, or the fact that the Office of Prevention oversees this event every year, why is it important to have something like this to get people out?
Well, I think one is to make sure that some people don't get out and they don't get to these community events, and that's why Somerville, like Deputy Chief Cabral said, Somerville has tons of events all summer and all year. So, and they're in different parts of the city. So this is one of the ones that are few at Foss Park. So we really want to embrace what we have. Foss Park is a great large park with many fields and everything. So we wanted to bring a community event there, and also just it gets people out to meet their neighbors. They may meet some people that they don't have. They may meet a different organization that they didn't know about, or they may get their kids signed up for karate lessons, or you know, just a fun time. I mean, they may see the Boys and Girls Club in their mobile playground and ask them what else do they do. So it's really a huge informational session, but people don't see that.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing. So people are getting so much information that it can be overwhelming at times, but it's great. And like you said, you know, you could walk around the event, and we have, you know, 1,000 to 2,000 people there, and just people have a good time. You know, nothing bad happened, and everything else. It's just performances, great time. We have food there. We'll have free water in case it's super hot, like the last couple of weeks. But it's just a fun time, and I think that Deputy Chief Cabral hit it right on the head when he said that Somerville does and cares about its community. So
that's great. And in that same vein, the importance of the prevention work that's done by Somerville Cares About Prevention and the Office of Prevention. How does this kind of tie in with the importance of really explaining prevention while not kind of making it as formal? It's as you said, it's more of a casual opportunity for people to come out, but if you're out doing something like this, you're not engaging in a negative behavior.
No. Well, prevention to me is, you know, it's not stopping a behavior from, like, right then from happening. It's preventing the behavior from ever happening. So that takes a while. So if you're displaying a behavior that, like right now at this very second, you know, we can't prevent that behavior. But if we could have these events to share information, or we work with the school too around bullying law and underage drinking prevention. So if we could prevent kids from doing something, it will make our city as safe as it is. And it's gotten safer and safer the last, I would say, since I've been here, the last 5 years. Yeah,
and I do think Somerville as a whole has so many opportunities available for young people that I think if you're wanting to be engaged, there is definitely something out there in the community for you to be engaged in.
Oh, yeah.
So as we come to a close, your favorite moment from National Night Out, any of them?
My favorite moment was my first year doing it in 2008 because I didn't really know what to expect. And just tons of people was drawn there. We had about, I think, 800 to 1,000 people that year, and it just to see the community come together as one. And the police department taking part in it, fire department, Cataldo, the mayor's office. It was just an important moment for me because I'd only been here for about 4 or 5 months. So I was like, okay, this is a great city to work in.
Well, we're happy to have you here working with us. I'd like to thank you for taking time to come on today. If people are looking for more information, they can go onto the city's website or contact your office directly to find more information.
Yes.
Okay. As always, I'd like to thank the production crew, Joe Constantine, Bill Trudell, George Wood. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next month.